Hi guys, it's Sarah with Grassroots Evolution Tarot, and I'm here today to bring you a monthly message for the sign of Gemini for September 2022. Sorry, Spirit just took my throat. Keep in mind it's general. Take what you feel resonates for you. Disregard anything that doesn't, my friends. Go about your day as well as, okay? It's the end of the month, but it's just what messages Spirit's going to bring through this month. So time is fluid. It may be kind of a precursor, what I heard is for October, or it's something that a lesson we're learning through this month, and we're not over. There's still a couple days. So I'm just going to take a moment to call on my team of light, Archangel Michael, Archangel Metatron, Archangel Gabriel, any of my spirit guides or your spirit guides that would be here for the highest good of the entire collective. I ask them to join us, and I ask them to guide, guard, bless, and protect myself, this reading, and any of you who would ask for it, to use me as the clearest channel possible, delivering messages that are for the most far-reaching, but again, only for your highest good. No second shelf here today, my friends. So I'm going to get right into the cards. Remember though, no matter what messages come through, it's still up to us and our active free will, the choices we make, the steps we take in our world to get whatever fulfillment it is we'd like to see. And to me, this is personal freedom. I say this every time, but it's personal power because, my friends, this power lies at the tips of your fingers and the soles of your feet. This is stuff that only we can do, and that's friggin' wonderful in this world, this free will we have. So I like to call that active free will. I'm going to start out first off with a message from Messages of Light. This is a Mario Juge Oracle. The thing with this as well is when I was shuffling, and it was probably for myself too, but self-love came out quite a few times, and the message being, I love and accept myself as I am, just as I am right now. And that's important, I think, going forward. We're going to really want to be focusing on what I heard is self-love. This is by increasing our confidence. Some of us, we may want to wear yellow. This is yellow calcite. I also have with me rose quartz. For some of you as well, as what I heard is this is blue calcite. Maybe a real importance in speaking our truth, which is where our spirit was trying to take my throat out. So smoky quartz may be really helpful. I also wanted to show you guys, this is called silver sheen obsidian. And it's supposed to be very, very protective. So for some of you, what I heard is ask for divine guidance. And again, like I just did, ask that it's for your highest good, and that anything that is negative, inauthentic, or dark energy, that it just be kind of cleared out. And what you can do to do this is even just imagine yourself. So take a few deep breaths in. There's 5, could be 3 to 5, just to a point where you feel like when you're breathing in and out, you've come to that state of relaxation. Pay attention to what colors, when your eyes are closed, what colors come to you. You can do this in the sun as well, but I think that it's going to be really important while you're doing this to ask that all of that heavy stuff kind of fall away, because it's not ours to carry anymore, is what I heard. So let's get into the card spirit. We're going to ask for three cards for Gemini for some spiritual advice. I'm going to take that one. They're saying to me awareness, spiritual awareness as well. This is also when we encounter situations, when we go into situations, that we're encountering this from a place of the light. And we are bringing our spiritual awareness to this. So we're looking at the situation maybe in 3D, may not be optimal. Maybe we're going through some conflict. But Spirit's saying, look at this from a higher perspective on everything that we go through, because that's what you're here to do, okay? So, for example, you may have some difficult relationships. You may have some, I heard, traumas as well. Or there's something... and for some of you, what I also heard is this is kind of relived. Now, this is also where it could be very important. I'm not a psychologist, right? I'm not a professional in that field, but for myself, a lot of times what helps is, like I suggested at the beginning, taking those deep breaths in and asking Spirit to help relieve these energies, and being spiritually aware and conscious of the situations that are happening. Because many times when we're reliving experiences, or we're seeing this wheel turn and it's the same thing, it's a different situation, could be same people, especially what I heard, if this is relationship trauma, if there's a family, if there's a very close bond with the people that are actually perpetrating this, kind of situation. So they're telling me cord cutting and cutting ties if you absolutely have to, because there is situations in our world where some people, what I heard is, they're just out to get us. And this isn't me trying to be negative in this, okay? I feel like you'll know if that resonated, that there are people in your world who can't stand your light, is what I heard. And for some of these people, they've tried to take us down because your light is so bright. This is why it's going to be very important on our self-love and self-healing journey to focus on ourselves, to focus on the things that bring us awareness, that bring us happiness, that bring us joy. This is focusing as well in the 3D, in this case being, what can I do to make my body feel better? What can I do to make myself feel more grounded? Because what I'm hearing is, okay, and this happens to me too, when we're up in the clouds, when we're etherically connected all the time, but we're not keeping our feet stable on this ground, it's going to exhaust us, because we are not a full circuit, right? We're like zzz, but we're dancing all around, and all that dancing has got us tired. For some of you as well, what I heard is we may not be sleeping at night, and this is going to be very important to making sure that for some of you, what I heard is physically exhausting yourself. Because if you have a lot of anxiety as well, again, there's different ways for everyone on how they can alleviate this, but personally I do find as well exercise, getting my body moving, because it's putting a focus on something else, as well as you're releasing endorphins, right? You're sweating, you're releasing all of those good hormones that when you're done, first off, you may feel proud of yourself, you may feel sweaty, out of breath and all that stuff, but you're increasing your endurance, and hopefully by the end of that run, or whatever it was that you did, the issue that was at hand, it's no longer a problem, okay? So we have searching within is the first one. We have everything changes, and welcoming happiness. And I absolutely love these cards. I love as well, I just want to show you the power of transformation at your hands. That magic power to do. So I'm going to start with this one. Everything changes. A soft light shines through my heart. It illuminates those around me and transforms everything. I focus and maintain a positive attitude in spite of all contradictions and difficulties I may see on the outer. I do not allow negativity to take control of me, but remain a source of joy. I free myself of doubt and am filled with pure light, the source of true happiness. Just a minute, guys. Okay, I'm back, guys. Getting a little drink because it's interesting that spirits cut my throat throughout this, and it could be something that, again, we have the power of at our tips of our fingers. If we see all this, there is a real importance of expressing our truth. So they're coming back to me before I go into searching within. Again, like I was saying earlier, about if we do know that we have some negative people in our world who try and stunt our growth, or who try and discourage us from going after our dreams, or discourage us from following through with our goals. Partly what I heard is there's a little jealousy there on their part, because they may never have had the courage to go after their dreams and goals. Some of these people as well, what I heard is, may not actually have had many goals in life. And the goals that they did have, what I heard is frivolous. Okay, so for some of us, that what I heard is meaningful creation. For some of you, whatever you're doing, it is very meaningful. And this is Spirit asking us, I heard meaningful labor. That when we're doing things, when we're, doing our housework, when we're going to work, when it could be the garden, right? Whatever it is, your workout, that we're doing this with meaning. It's meaningful, and it's meaningful to us. What I heard as well is, especially if it's when we're forced to do something hard, right? Like a workout. I just started, for any of you guys interested, and if you're not, whatever, but I just started, I'm on week 2 of Lift More with Joel Freeman, Beachbody, and it's challenging me. It is hurting, but in the best way possible. And I feel like this is where it's saying, Spirit saying, you can do hard things. And even for myself, I find if I come at it where I don't want to, and I'm dragging my heels to hit play on that, it's going to be a whole lot more difficult of a workout. But if I can come at it with gratitude And intention, it seems to go a lot faster. So, kind of for myself, even what I've had to do is remind myself, hey, you wanted to do this, right? This is what you want to do. You want to be strong, right? So there was a lot of preparation for the program as well, because it uses a weight bench and I didn't have one. So there was all these different things. For Spirit, I find they like to test us to make sure that we want it. But here's where nobody else can do it for us. So we have to take our free will. We have to take our power and lean into that transformation, even if it's hard. Because Spirit's like, you can do it. Otherwise, happiness isn't going to be at the end. If we couldn't do it, we're going to be looking at failure. But even if we fail, we didn't fail. We tried, and that's not a failure. What I also heard is things take time. Caterpillar, moth, they don't just turn into this beautiful flying creature overnight. It takes them time. They're also showing me the orange flowers at the bottom in the monarch. So searching within, what I see and what I live is a mirror of my inner self. Not my outer, but my inner conditions are the sources of my difficulties in life. With each of life's challenges, I search within to learn how I can grow stronger through this self-searching. I will find the best answers and the greatest healing. I study myself and transform myself. And this is also what I heard, is, again, you have to feel it to heal it. But you have to be willing to see it. And this is also within our own world. We have to be willing to see our part in our own heartbreak, our part in, let's say, even I'm going to bring it back to COVID. A lot of us probably put on a little bit of weight, or some of us may have leaned into self-care and exercise. Or both, right? I know myself, I emotionally ate my feelings for a while, put on a little bit of weight, got to a point, was like, I can't do this anymore, still eating my feelings sometimes, but having to be really conscious, going, you're eating your feelings, why? You're feeling a void, why? Is this food really going to help it? Is it going to make me feel good? Is it going to make me feel crappy? More than likely going to be crappy. So here's my example to you, my friends, is if we know something we're doing is making our warrior spirit weaker, we need to stop that shit, myself included. Welcoming happiness. It says, divine love manifesting in me, through me, and around me attracts all that I need for the greatest benefit of my soul. As I work to increase my light, I become the emanation of love and joy. Thus I reap the happiness and beauty of all that I've sown. And for any of you, I'm just going to use me, but for any of you, reaping what you sow, this could be getting into those pants that were too small. You reap what you sow. You worked hard on your nutrition and your activity all month. Or you did with your goals, maybe you're starting to see financial gain from some of the things that you had as hobbies. But if you hadn't put yourself out there, how would you have ever seen the gain for this? If you hadn't taken that first leap, would you have ever seen the gain? Probably not, right? In our world, what is for our highest good, what's best for us, and what is truly on our path, what I heard is it's not always going to come easy, because this is our spirit's testing us, but we're being forced, is what I heard, but it's not forced, because this is doing for yourself. We're being guided along this path to stick to our guns and to hold true to the meaning behind whatever action we're doing to ourselves. So, for example, you're going to have different meanings for why you're doing this, right? Your meaning for starting your business or being an entrepreneur or starting to put out, these cool things you're making and starting to make dough. That means you actually get to have meaningful practice here because you're enjoying what you do. You're putting love into this, creativity into this, and my friends, this is purpose. And again, you're searching within something in you said, do this. This is what I need to create. Some of you may have a YouTube channel. Some of you may be, on TikTok or whatever, Instagram, right? Whatever. Maybe it's selling pictures of your feet, right? Whatever it is, something in you said, this is for me. So remember, when you're starting out on this journey, or if you know that you're being challenged, write down your whys. So on those days that pushing through and the perseverance to do this is a little more challenging, you can go back to those whys. And also what I heard is take a break if you need it. Again, they always tell me Rome wasn't built in a day, right? This empire you're building wasn't built in a day. And you want to make sure there's no faulty fault lines as you're building your empire that can be a weak point to your structure and allow it to crumble. That's not going to happen. We're building a life here. What I heard is, so welcoming happiness, like I said, we're working on the divine love manifesting in me, through me, and around me attracts all that I need for my greatest benefit of my soul. Follow your intuition and follow your own lead, is what I'm hearing. So I'm going to move on. I apologize if I blah, blah, blah too much, but Spirit has pretty quick on those. So we have the Four of Hazards in reverse, which is don't keep it all to yourself, my friends. And we have here as well the Five of Swords. There is internal struggle, something that again may have rocked that stability, may have made us want to shut everybody out, drown out the voices that seem to be in conflict and fighting all the way. This again, like I keep feeling that like beginning energy of, you know who the person or group of people is. Like they're telling me even research grants and things like that, right? You know you're onto something big. I'm going to say this, and hopefully I don't get this taken off, but Monsanto, years and years ago, so the creators of Roundup, right, glyphosate, which is basically poured on so many of our crops, and has been proven in court to be linked to cancer and non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. I could go on and on about this product, strongly against it. And I know that there will be a lot of arguments for, Monsanto's arguments for that this can help increase food, right? And all this stuff. But if we're pouring those chemicals onto our food, it's not going anywhere. It's like kind of like DDT. Bioaccumulates. Babies are born with crazy toxic levels in their skin, in their blood. How? Because of our environment, yes, but also what we're putting in our food. So I digress. However, before this finally came to court, like 20 years ago, maybe more, there was a whistleblower at Fox News who was going to pull the plug on Monsanto, and he was going to, my crown is just pulling off, they're like, they're going to get turned off, but they were going to basically tell everybody what they'd found, which was, even at the time, there's this product called Prilosec, which is a bovine growth hormone used in dairy cattle to increase milk production. The problem with this is it's really bad for the cows. It increases mastitis, a bunch of different stuff. But, and then we already have so much milk, right? And one of the biggest things that's sent over in food aid is powdered milk. But if you don't have adequate drinking water, how the heck are you going to use this powdered milk, right? Anyway, so Fox was about to go public with this. Monsanto got wind of it. I think there was 2 of them, Fox reporters were removed from their jobs and shit canned. Story never came out. That's why we have corporate watchdogs and whistleblowers. And how long it took those people. I'm going to get really emotional, and I apologize about it, but I think that it's because when something is so important to our heart, much as this situation with our food security and poisoning our water system, poisoning ourselves, and wondering why there's so much cancer. And I think that, we've all experienced loss in our worlds from this, or maybe going through it right now. And we can see all of the different things that, we may need to do. People say, oh, well, everything does. But if we're pouring cancer causing agents on our food, or we're allowing them in our food, you've heard that you are what you eat, right? If I eat McDonald's, I'm going to look like McDonald's, right? If I'm doing this all the time, if this is my once in a while, they're bringing me to 80-20. So, and it's up to you how you choose to eat, right? But 80% of the time, give yourself good, nourishing food. Sure, 20%, take a break, eat some pizza, eat something that brings you taste buds different joy, but get back on track after. And again, search within your own body, your own internal needs, means how did that make you feel? So for some of you, I feel like it's going to be really time to share the wealth. For some of you, this is also, if you have competitive forces around you, not giving them shit, okay? Not telling them nothing. For some of you, the words I actually heard were Stonewall them. There was, I don't remember what reading it was, but there was something I was talking about where I was around an individual who was looking to hurt me, as nicely as I can say that. And again, this person was family, and it's really difficult when you go through something like that. And all I could think was, you know what? Anything I say will either be twisted, used against me at a later date, right? So I was like, I'm gonna fucking Stonewall you. Blank. And I mean, there's a place for this. There's places for not this. For some of you, where this comes into is if you know that you are going to be around somebody who's going to prey on your emotions. Like if they catch one glimpse of a tear, they're just going to find something to make the floodgates open. Stonewall, my friends. And this is, what I heard is it's not emotional dissociation. It is protection. So there are times where when you get out of that situation, go feel it. But what I'm hearing is most of the time I'd say stand up for yourself. But if we're around somebody that we feel we have to stonewall ourselves around, don't stand up for yourself. Fuck it. They want to say what they want to say, let them. Because their true nature, it's going to show. I'm being guided to tell you guys about a Facebook meme I saw the other day that was something about, like, maybe the people that you're listening to, like, if you're hearing a lot about a person, maybe you're hearing it from the problem. Because for the most part, those of us that may have been wronged, are you going around making sure everybody knows that this person's doing this to you? No. But they're going around making sure that, you know, their point's getting across, right? So this is where I'm saying, I think that just everything changes here. That searching within, if you're feeling the need to stonewall someone, you're already seeing a pattern of abuse, is what I heard as well. Because this isn't stonewalling somebody because our heart, you know, we don't want to let them in. This is somebody, you have the Ten of Swords in reverse, someone who's broke our fucking hearts before, and they know how to do it. And what I heard is, and this is my experience, but it may be yours as well, those same people who picked up at the beginning, right? Those people that you've had to stonewall, it is because, again, like, they took it from me. But this is also where I think it's because it's been really difficult to talk about if this is going on. Okay, what I heard is, well, as narcissistic or covert abuse, this stuff happens. Like, you can be sitting at a table, okay, and if not everybody's paying attention to the same thing, you could have somebody beside you saying stupid shit. Like, for example, okay, my ex-stepmother, she's no longer my stepmother, but when I was pregnant with my first child, I mean, I was already probably 200 pounds, okay? I was 200 pounds. And maybe 220, so opening up there. But she told me, with everybody else around and nobody else heard it, that I probably won't even show. And we didn't already have a great relationship. It was tumultuous, and I have a lot of trust issues, right? And especially when it's like, because this person was constantly doing this stuff. When somebody puts you down, even it can be in front of people, but they're going to pretend they didn't say it because nobody else heard it. But it doesn't mean it wasn't said to you. It doesn't mean it didn't happen. So I think that for some of you, like, what I heard is the truth may be coming out too. And they're telling me to, don't think for a minute. Whoever this person is you feel you need to stonewall, don't think for a minute other people don't see it. There is something with the Queen of Hazards in here. I heard some people may have a vested interest, or they're buying into it for a reason. This Ten of Swords in the reverse, though, I feel like you're the whistleblower, always have been. And I think that in this situation, I'm hearing, again, like, I don't remember which reading it was, but I titled one, Kill Them with Kindness. My grandmother was... my grandmother, I channeled her earlier, and she was coming through, and she's been kind of coming through with me today, because again, with this situation, what I experienced, my grandmother, you know, it was generational, right? And this is also what I heard is women on women. it's not always, sometimes we like to think about this, or, men on men, sometimes we like to think of this as, power dynamic within relationships, but this can also be competition, especially depending on the mindset of the person you're working with or you're dealing with. They're also telling me like dementia and things like this, for some people as well. For some of you, I heard it may be hidden, but also what I'm hearing is if you are dealing with someone like that, especially if they've been a nasty person their whole life, you may not know from time to time when you see them what you're going to expect. So what I heard is if you do have to be around this person in public, don't give them the satisfaction of a reaction, because that's probably what they want if you feel baited, okay? So this Queen of Hazards, what I heard is don't be so chained to something just because it could be family, right? It could be a loved one, a job, something that you, again, something, whatever changes here, we shouldn't be so chained to our possessions or so chained to our material world that we end up becoming a zombie anyway. I mean, her arms are off and she's still sitting there because the chain is illusionary. It's on the chair. It's not on her. Nothing kept her there but her own pride. And I think that this is where we have to think about pride. May have been a situation for a long time that kept us in other situations. Maybe, again, because it's covert. We don't want other people to know that we're suffering this. There's a lot of shame that gets attached, and a guilt. I got the tower at the bottom. There's a lot of shame and stuff like that gets attached, especially if we've been abused. And people, I know even in my own world, people said, I just don't understand how you could ever let that happen. Really? Because obviously there was a part of me that felt pretty damaged and unloved to allow these kinds of things to happen, because my perception of love was pretty fucking skewed. Pardon my language. And I think, guys, I'm a Gemini, just be clear here if you've never watched me before. So a lot of this reading, some of it definitely resonates for me. But if whatever I'm saying resonates for you, if this is also happening in your worlds, take my advice, my friends, and take Spirit's advice. Search within and listen. What is going to bring me happiness? What changes do I need to make? What do I need to do physically? What hard work do I need to put in to remove myself from whatever the situation is? Because like I said, it could be possession, could be a home life, it could be a way of being, a way of living, and just pride, being afraid to make these changes. But if we're so stuck here, they're giving me the example of like a sinking house, or if like there's a landslide coming, okay? Much like this tower, something big is fucking happening. Something's going to happen. And if we stop those changes, if we're like, nope, won't see it, won't have it, if we won't allow these endings to happen, and truthfully, this does feel like it's a lot within our mental space with these swords, okay? It feels like it's a lot in our head, and that this stuff in our head has really affected the way that we live in our world. Just a second. I'm back. My son's home ill today, and I let him play a little bit of Fortnite while I'm doing this, and he accidentally had someone join. So anyway, it doesn't matter. But this is also where it's going to be. What I heard is really important to stick to your own guns. This, for some of you, comes down to parenting as well. So I'm going to say this, is that there are those, again, that may not agree with everything that you do, but what works for you. Sorry, guys. Kind of got nauseous all of a sudden as well. So I think we may be touching on something here. Side of my neck hurt too, which is all connected. And swallowing, your stomach. For some of you as well, what I'm hearing is stomach issues, because if we've kept all this stuff inside, and if we're constantly being subjected to someone that we feel like we have to stonewall, and we're dissociating, or we're shutting parts of ourselves down just to function on a fucking day-to-day basis, we need to get the hell out of that situation. Because what's it doing to your nervous system? What's it doing to your stomach? Because if you have to swallow your feelings all the time just so that you don't have to get hurt more, your body's suffering, and your mental state and your emotional state is suffering. So give yourself a great big hug and repeat after me. I deserve better than this in life. I am worthy of more than this in life. I am beautiful and worthy and loved just as I am, regardless of the words used by that person to harm me. One of the best things I ever said, and if you're still here, thank you guys, but watch the cognitive dissonance on their face. When someone tries to put you down, you say, well, that's okay. My worth isn't dependent on how you feel about me. I'm sure you're going to watch what I call the gobble. Okay, turkey, chicken, whatever you want. See that? Don't want to see that. Anyway, so I'm going to move on, and then I will end this reading here with the gobble. But just say that if you need to. If this keeps going on, and they're really trying to hurt you, just say, it's okay. My worth is not dependent on how you think about me, And in this world, my friends, what I heard is the song, I'm not sure who sings it, but it sings, it takes all kinds of kinds. In this world, right, it takes all kinds of kinds. So Earth and Air Dragon represents a perfect balance of heaven and earth. Stay balanced, ground your visions, manifest your hopes and dreams. Do not stop for nothing, because my friends, it's coming. The changes are coming, and the happiness that are coming from these changes, even though it's going to be hard, they're bringing me back to lift. It's going to be because even though it's going to be hard to put that work in, the gains are going to be crazy. My arms are going to be swole, yo. Anyway, that's the message I have. I love you all. And just remember to flex that spiritual muscle. Flex the muscles you have that you can do to put forward what you need to do. For some of you, what I heard is to budget, to figure out your resources and how you can go about making the changes in the physical that's going to bring you those happiness, or that's going to bring you that happiness. All right. Mwah, guys, I love you all, and I will talk to you later. Bye, guys.